we go. The show is on. The show must go on, lady and gentlemen. Avocado, 6 o'clock Thursday night, without fail. Regardless of what is going on in the world, we will be live to answer your questions about property. And this evening, I'm excited to say, Mark is in the lounge. How are we doing, Mark? You well?
Very well, thank you. Very well.
Good stuff. Sean and Georgina are in the bedroom, but not together. They're in their own bedrooms. Sean, how are you?
Yeah, good. Feeling good.
Are you going to get that guitar out for us or not on this live? That's what we want to know.
It's not in tune, to be fair. Next time.
It's not in tune. Good excuse. Solid. And Georgina, how are you? How has your week been? You seem like you've been very active this week.
I have, and it's been half term, so it has been a challenge, I have to say. But it's been fun spending a lot of time with my girls whilst trying to work. It's been interesting, but it's good.
Love that. Yeah, we had half term last week, and you just celebrate the Sunday evening, don't you? It's a celebration for their return. So yeah, absolutely.
So, Ian, before we go any further, no one ever asked how you are. I thought I saw you in a hay. I thought I saw you in a hay barn the other day.
I was yesterday. I was practicing my 50-mile ultra race yesterday. So we went down to the course, or to the part of the Testway route, and just stumbled across some hay. And 18 miles into my run, I fancied a little rest in it, and it was delightfully comfortable. So yeah, appreciate you asking, Mark.
That's right. You're all good, Dad. You're all good.
All good. Legs are a bit sore, but it's nice to be back in the office and out of the rain. In Andover was where I was, kind of Hampshire sort of direction. So not far from your patch, Mark. Thank you for that. If anyone is listening and you've got questions, as we always say, please pass them in the comments. If you can hear us loud and clear, we're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, we're on multiple Facebook pages, profiles, business pages. So please pop a like so that you know we can hear us, or if you're feeling really snazzy on a Thursday night, pop us a love heart, because we do like it when those flag up. It means the world is out there. So I'll put that in the comments. Georgina, ladies first. What topic of conversation shall we open with this evening? Is it Russia related?
I'm not going to start with that one, no. Although, how depressing. But no, my topic that I wanted to discuss was certain buyers offering on multiple properties and not necessarily being honest about this. And it's something that I just wanted to bring up with buyers purely because it's not the done thing to offer on more than one property. When you're offering, you're effectively, that is your offer to purchase the property. And it has happened a fair few times recently, and it's something, obviously, I vet my buyers to make sure that they can afford it, and that, if there's any chain details, we go into those details, and I do ask, now, is this the only property that you're offering on? And I have found that some people have been dishonest about this, and I do understand that the market is very difficult. It's really tough for people, and if people have been let down so many times or have missed out on properties, I can understand they're kind of putting their eggs in different baskets, but obviously we have to trust each other, and to be able to move forward. If there's another property that I then put them forward for, if they've offered a multiple, you can't have a seller accept your offer and then go back to them and say, oh, sorry, they've actually decided to go with a different property. So I just wanted to, for sellers out there, make sure your agents are, vetting people properly. And obviously for buyers, obviously you can't just offer on multiple. How do you guys feel about it?
Yeah, so it's a great point. And I dropped in the Russia thing, and Andrew's gone straight in to ask us about that. So, we'll come back and put our 2 pennies worth on that. But we'll first of all start with yourself, Georgina, and multiple offers. It's been a common practice for some buyers for many, many years. And I sort of understand why buyers are doing it now, because it's the FOMO effect of the market, isn't it? It's the fear of missing out. What's your take on that, Sean? What's your kind of view on it? What's the way around it so that buyers feel more confident that they don't need to multi-offer? Because it's not a good thing for anyone involved, is it really?
I think if you can get in to see a house as early as possible, then you've got a tad bit more time to view the house to make a decision whether it's right for you. You know, if you're turning up on an open day and you know there's multiple people interested, you probably are going to throw in an offer because you're worried about losing it. You know, I'm hearing a lot of stories from people which are offering on 4 or 5 houses and they just can't. Maybe because they've got a long chain. Maybe it's that type of buyer that's doing it rather than first-time buyers like back in the day. Who knows?
People are scared, aren't they? I think they're scared to lose that sort of. They're scared to lose any property at the moment. I actually think a lot of buyers are settling for less of their criteria than they normally would have done in the past. I think I've always said to buyers, you need to have your 3 non-negotiables, the 3 things that are the reason for you buying that property. And it might be that you must have a garage and you must have a south-facing garden and you must have an ensuite. As an example, that might be your 3 non-negotiables. And then have 3 things that you would really, really like to have. But if you got 2 of the 3 or 1 of the 3 and your 3 non-negotiables were ticks and it was in price range, go for it, because that you're never going to get 100% perfect. But at the moment, it feels like the non-negotiables are negotiable. So it's a funny one at the moment. Mark, what's your view? What advice would you give to a buyer that's so scared of missing out on property that they're having to offer on 2 or 3 to almost hedge their bets?
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? So, I mean, it's been going on. Well, as we know, I've been in agency since the Stone Age. The way I play is that anybody can offer on a property. That's absolutely fine. What I want to see is money parting hands. You know, okay, fine, thanks for your offer. You know, we'll take it off the market, or you're first in line. But until I see you parting with some money, i.e., paying your solicitors, paying for the survey, you're in the running, but it's not necessarily going to be yours. You know, I had multiple offers on a house last Saturday, and they all said, "Oh, have I got it?" And I said, "Well, you know, until I see your solicitor details, until I know that you've been instructed." And out of all the offers, there were 6 in all. Only 2 came back with their solicitor details. That's my take on it.
Yeah, they didn't have any, or they'd gone away to get quotes and just hadn't returned.
Yeah,
with them.
absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
It's
if you haven't got your solicitor's details, how serious are you?
Yeah, it's a great way of. I guess it's some buyers don't realise, Georgina, do they? I think they don't realise that when you make an offer, what we're looking to give the seller to accept that offer is confidence. And the way that an estate agent works through the confidence, like Mark and Sean says, is you want to know the figures are right. You need to know their position. You need to know they're emotionally committed to the property. And you need to know that there's a mortgage ready or a mortgage in principle or a broker you can talk to. You need to know that there's a solicitor, even if it's 1 of 2, but they've had a quotation. They know who's going to do the legal work, so that we can advise on that as well if it's someone that we're not prepared to work for. But we kind of go through this offer checklist in our head as estate agents that's just habitual now. We've known it since we were young whippersnapper negotiators back in the day. And if a buyer hasn't got the ability to give us those tick boxes, then we can't give the full confidence to the seller. So what are the buyers' kind of view on it, Georgina? What's the reasons, not excuses, but what's the reasons for multiple offering? Is there a particular theme or trend? Are they scared? Are they just doing it because they don't know what they want to buy? What's kind of the reason?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of nervous buyers out there, and people, if they've sort of missed out on a few, are then just they're feeling the pressure. So I do completely understand it, but again, obviously I see things from my seller's point of view. You know, how can they be confident in accepting an offer? The way I've kind of got around it is to say, well, they need to have their solicitors already instructed, as Mark quite rightly said, and survey booked and paid for within, for example, 7 days of the offer being accepted. And, you know, perhaps it doesn't actually come off the market until such time as those things are already done. Whereas previously, you know, an estate agency, the thing you want to do is quickly get it, you know, sold subject to contract as soon as possible. But actually, you don't want to potentially miss out on, you know, good quality buyers while almost wasting your time on somebody that's not quite serious enough. So, yeah. That's kind of my take on it. I just want to bring it up and see what others' experiences were.
I think it goes to show as well that people are still out and about viewing properties after they've had an offer accepted. And
which shows they're not so committed to the ones that they actually offered on. They were just going for it, just so that they've got something.
I think it's such an upside down market at the moment that it's our place. It's great that you brought the topic up because it's our place to advise on it and help people, because I think a lot of the time it's fear that makes people do things that is not the norm. And my advice to that buyer that's multiple offering is not to do that. Once you make a commitment to something, you burn the boats. It's kind of that kind of, I'm all in on this property. And I feel when someone tells me how committed they are to that property, how much they want it, how desperate they are to get it, the flexibility that they're going to give for the seller, the commitment they're going to give financially to the transaction. That as an agent, you feel that kind of that full confidence and commitment, and that's what we want to see from buyers. And rightly, like Georgina says, it's not just paying for a survey the way to financially commit. You could instruct a solicitor on Monday and you could pay for searches there and then as a buyer, £300. It's non-refundable on day one with your solicitor. So if you are a buyer, have a solicitor ready and have that account ready to transfer that money over to, so that we can speak to your solicitor and say, yeah, we've got funds for searches. As soon as we get memorandums of sale, we're ready to go on it. And that way we kind of get that financial commitment, much like we've all said on this chat, that would be really, really helpful. I think we spoke about it a couple of weeks ago on one of these about whether actually there should be some sort of financial or legal commitment at the point of offer.
Well, like Scotland.
Yeah, we were talking about this a few weeks ago, and it might have even been last week, but much like in an auction, hammer goes down, much like in Scotland, sale is agreed. And you buy a new home, you reserve £500, £2.5 grand, £5 grand, depending on the price, and it's in. And Jade's watching on LinkedIn. She said something similar. She said, I think it's crazy in this country that putting an offer isn't a commitment. Isn't it in France, once you commit to something, you're committed? Yeah, I mean, maybe in France, I don't know the France market myself, but I mean, just in Scotland, just north of the border, it's exactly that. And I do feel that this market has shown us that buyers are not put off by doing the right thing. And what we need for sellers in this market, so that they've got the confidence to move their families and start boxing up and getting emotionally connected to their next home, is that commitment. So I think that's fair, Sean, isn't it? I think that's a fair request. It's not in play, but we can champion.
Yeah, 100%. I think we speak to a lot of Scottish people and who are shocked really about the way things are done here. Because it is frustrating. Even if you're not going to put multiple offers out, you want to make sure that you're not going to have the rug pulled from beneath your feet from another buyer, and the whole gazumping thing comes into play as well. So I mean, who knows? This market could show us a few new tricks.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike Robson, my business partner, is messaging me while I'm live. So, Mike, if you're watching this, I will come back to you after I finish this conversation. So, Andy mentioned about Russia. Now, I said it tongue in cheek when we went to Georgina. I don't know what's going on today because I've been bananas busy. It's a bit scary, I think, with everything going on at the moment. Never do you want to see Boris saying some negative things about someone like Putin. I would imagine that in itself terrifies the life out of me. I don't know if anyone that is watching has a view on this and how it might impact the property market. If you do, please comment. We would love to get your view on it. Like I say, I've not been in media too much today. I have spoke to a high net worth client today who spoke to an estate agent data analysis about how this would impact the higher end of the market. Because there is a lot of Russian money in the high net worth properties. And in particular, we're talking about a rental that we've got that we're just negotiating on the Wentworth estate. And he felt it could have a significant impact because there could be a case of people having their money freezed and accounts frozen. And there's some big transactions at that end of the market, 5, 10, 15 million, where it could have a problem with some deals at the top of the market. Not something you deal with day to day, but something that we touch on. So that's my only take on it. But Mark, I kind of see you nodding your head there. Any sort of thoughts on just when you get these negative storms, how does it impact the confidence of the market?
On the whole, it won't impact middle to lower end. Top end, as you say, there's a lot of Russian money, and if you're actually funny, I sold a property at the beginning of, where are we now, February? So it was beginning of December to a Russian, and he actually had a mortgage with a Russian bank. Obviously, if you've got any of those on your books, then they're not going to be doing an awful lot in the near future. With most of them, in fact, I think all the Russian banks have now had their assets and transactions frozen.
Yeah.
But as you say, the Russian money tends to be right at the very top, 15, 20, 25 million. They do massive buys in London where they shift the money around. So it's not something I've ever had to deal with. It is something I've heard about and heard people talk about. But I think, look at our market even today. Nobody's taken a step back. Nobody's come to me and said, "Oh, I'm worried about the Russia-Ukraine situation. I'm going to put my buy on hold." I don't think it's going to affect us greatly.
I did have one that was a bit unsure.
Yeah,
I think with election
fall through.
What did they say, Georgina?
It was purely because they were moving to a country next to Ukraine, so that's why. And I was like, okay. yeah, we were almost at exchange as well. So yeah, gutted, but I can completely respect their decision. It's not perhaps the time to be doing it. So
yeah, no, totally understand. Sean,
it's hard to tell, isn't it? Because I think even with COVID and Brexit and elections, it's all a bit. No one really does anything at the start. And then it becomes more news, it becomes bigger news, so that's when people then start pulling their feet off the gas. So yeah, we just have to see what happens really for the next few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's one of those that if we were in a different market, just a passive, static market, these minor little things, not minor things, but these things in the media can have minor impacts in the market. And we've seen that from time to time, where something's happened in the US or something's happened in China. This is before COVID, before anything like that. And you would just see the media jump on it because negative press sells and the property market's hot topic always in the UK. And sometimes people will jump on that. But at the moment, I think it's so hectic. No one's batted an eyelid so far, but we'll talk again next Thursday, a week down the line, and it could be totally different. You just don't know. But we'll see. We'll see what the impact is. The storm was last week. Feels like a while ago, actually. But how did that affect everyone's property, Sean? I saw you. You had one of your boards basically roped to a lamppost by your cellar, which was brilliant to see. But how's that impacted everyone's houses? Everyone okay, Sean? Tiles, problems in transactions that you're dealing with, or was it all okay?
Couple of fence panels reinforced, but my sales have stayed intact. So I made a few calls and had some fantastic sellers. Super keen to keep the board up, which resulted in a sale on the Sunday. So so really top notch. Yeah,
there was definitely a few boards flying around, a couple of tiles here and there, but Georgina, all okay from that perspective? Nothing crazy?
Yeah, I was a bit upset that my my little sun swing seat in the garden, it lost its roof. On a personal note, I was devastated. But no, a couple of fence panels, but it was actually quite funny. I was filming on Friday, which I think was almost the worst day. And I was out in the garden filming and the trees were just going absolutely all over the place. And I was like, well, this doesn't make for a very good property video. So I've cut sort of half of the video for the garden, but it still looks good. And I managed to get it done and then went back again on Monday when it wasn't quite so windy. So it's okay. My plans just got adjusted a little bit.
Yeah, Mark mentioned what I was up to yesterday, and it was the Testway. So it's basically Andover all the way like a bridle path that goes all the way to Southampton. So we were running on like single file between trees, and it was like a hurricane had hit. It was we were jumping over trees. There was branches everywhere. It was absolutely chaotic. Yateley didn't see it though at all, Mark. I hear your hair was immaculate the whole time, and everyone is okay.
We saw some of it. The swing seat went for journey. Neighbours fence panel decided to pay us a visit, but on the whole, it's not as bad as the storm of '87. Thankfully.
I keep hearing about
was a
this one.
storm. Oh, sorry, George, before your time.
The year I was born, so.
I think I was 4. I was 4.
Seven
I
Oak,
don't remember it.
When Seven Oaks became One Oak. Yeah.
So let's quickly touch on mortgage rates. So let's get back on property. We spoke about the market every week. We've said for the last 6 months, today's the cheapest day that you can buy a house, or a flat, or a bungalow, or any other type of property. Today is the cheapest day that you can do it. Why is it the cheapest day today? Because we got to the bottom level of what the mortgage rates could go down to a couple of months back now. And prices obviously went up 10 to 12% last year. We expect them to go up somewhere between 4 and 6 this year, which means today's the cheapest day that you can buy property. And it means it will be more expensive to buy that property tomorrow because prices will have gone up and interest rates potentially will have gone up. Now, one thing that we have seen for anyone that's looking at selling and buying, or remortgaging for that fact, is we have seen a fair jump in rates over the last 10 days. There's a bit of momentum with the lenders for all different spectrums of products, but we are seeing some of the major banks start to hike them up. Accord was the most recent one that put quite a few of its rates up by 0.3, 0.4%. So a fair chunk, but to put that in context, they're still crazy low. They're just not dirt cheap like they were for, 8 weeks ago. Has anyone seen that impact anything with buyer registration for new listings? Sean, are you seeing any of that impacting people yet?
Yeah, truthfully, I am. I've got some buyers who were looking with me a couple of months ago, who couldn't sort of settle on a property, have now actually reduced their budget because the rates have gone up. So, I know back in the day, people would not be too bothered, or they wouldn't remember the mortgage rates that they got told before. They'd need to now. You need to be well aware of that because you could help you buy a property for £10,000 more, or lose one for £10,000 less if you haven't got yourself sorted by then. So stay in the loop.
Yeah, I'd love to know if anyone is talking to brokers at the moment, or if there's been any change. Maybe they found a property and they had an AIP agreed for 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. They come back, secured a home, and whether rates have changed for them. I know Virgin Money put pretty much all of theirs up by 0.25%. So it's not crazy figures. Georgina, I don't know if you saw rates of the week that got emailed out today. I think Callie sent them through to everyone. And what we saw was a 90% loan to value, a 10% deposit. It's still only 1.75, whereas it was about 1.3, 1.4 8 weeks ago. So
still,
it's low, right?
Yeah, so much better than
still.
Years ago. So
yeah. Mark, what's the highest one you've ever seen?
A bit of a giveaway, isn't it? I'll be honest with you, the highest interest rate I've ever seen is 14.25%.
Wow. Were you paying that?
No. I know the man that was, and he came in the office and just gave us the keys and said, "There you go. I can't do it."
I mean, that's a lot of interest. I had 6.5 once, and yeah, I had a 25% deposit on that as well, and it was a fair chunk. You think that was a lot of money, a lot of high interest. Sean, yourself?
I think the highest rate I remember, which I didn't go for at the time, was just over 8%. A couple of years later, I went and bought, and then it was 4%. So but the market went up went up from about 180 to about 215, I think was the purchase price.
So it's all in context. And I spoke to Akil, I spoke to Alan and Dave from AFP, Akil from our mortgage broker, spoke to Dom, who Dan and Neil work with from the Money Guardian, just to get an idea on their perspective. And mortgage advisors are super confident at the moment. They've got no worries about it. They don't think we're going to see drastic spikes, and they feel pretty confident that this is just a leveling out process. Yes, we're seeing rates go up now, significantly, granted, but in the spectrum, on context of how low they actually got, it's basically free money for a while, wasn't it? You're borrowing £500,000 for peanut level money. which is what it did to the market last year. So it's almost right that the banks have kind of leveled things back up to kind of keep the crazy train on hold for a little bit. So yeah, as estate agents, it's fantastic. We love a busy, booming market, but we also want first-time buyers to be able to get on the ladder, and we want people to do what they need to do. So we also want to keep it fairly level for everyone. Spring doesn't feel like it's round the corner, Mark, but I think
it is.
it doesn't feel it, but I did look out at the tree that I need to trim in my garden and think, oh, there's buds on that already. Yeah. Have I missed the boat? So yeah, selling in spring or getting ready to sell in spring. Are you green fingered, Mark?
I am indeed. Yeah, green fingered. All the daffodils are coming up. My daffs are coming up. So I'll give you a good tip actually. What a lot of people do wrong, their first cut of the grass is they cut it too short. Your first cut of the grass should be nice and long. Okay, because that way you're not taking off too much. So if another frost does come in, your grass is protected, and also it looks good.
It's a bit like just trimming the split ends.
Yeah.
On my daughter's hair. Yeah.
Very much so. Yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do. And you're right, the trees are starting to bloom. Our cherry trees, the bloom's coming out on that. As I said, the daffodils, all the other flowers are starting to come up as well. It's going to be a good spring. I can feel it. It's in the air.
Good. So what's the tips for selling in spring? What should people be planting now or doing now with their gardens so that when they get the photography and the video done, it's looking the best it can look?
Yeah, flowers, colour at the front, colour at the back. Clean up the driveway. And replace the fence panels. Yeah. But a good photograph from the front with a nice display of flowers. Clean driveway. If you've got time, give it a scrub. You get all these patio cleaners nowadays, pressure washers. Resand it, and it just gives the whole house the first appearance from the front. People can see that you care about your property.
Yeah, first impressions count, don't they?
Very much so. Yeah.
Sean, I know you had. Someone said hello. Sean, I know you had your daughter out working on some property filming, so I know you're a big fan of how your photos look and the video editing that you put in. But colour makes a massive difference to photography and video work. I think it really makes our life a lot easier. And I do often say to people, even if it's weather like this, what do I need to do for the photos on Thursday, for example? And I always say, if you can get some fresh flowers in the dining room, it makes a big difference, doesn't it, to the media work that we do?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, my daughter loved. She's loved learning what I do and getting the camera out and doing a bit of filming. And she's, seeing it from a child's perspective is also really, really nice as well, because she instantly says, "Oh, should we get some flowers for this room?" And sometimes it's not things that you often think about. But it's just been good.
Yeah, I'd definitely say for anyone that wants to sort of check in on what everyone's doing, follow Georgina on Facebook. She's always jumping on live and talking about all sorts of different things. Normally opens with "Hello, my lovelies," and then follow Mark. If you wouldn't believe it, but follow Mark on TikTok. He's absolutely loving life on TikTok. Follow him on his Facebook page, or his particular Yateley community group that he's got for properties. Check that out. And Sean is all over Instagram. Follow his reels, his property videos. He's on Facebook as well. But check them out because they're doing some really good content. It makes me smart, and I love seeing half term with Sean. And I think, is she 10? Your daughter, Sean? Yeah, and she was. I saw the video stuff, and it was quality as well. So yeah, really, really enjoyed that. Anyone got any little sneak peeks that they want to share with us before we wrap up? Georgina, anything on the horizon that we might not have seen on Facebook yet that's coming to the market?
I've got one premiering at 8 o'clock tonight. It's a beautiful house, so be sure to check that video out. And I have one coming up. It's a 3-bedroom in Woodley, none other than Hazel Drive again. That would be my 4th one in the same road.
In the same road. And do you know what? I think a couple of the partners have been booking multiple valuations and listings in the same road at the moment. So word of mouth is very, very powerful. 8 o'clock, is that premiering on the brand page or just your page tonight?
I think so. Yes, it's on my page, definitely 8 o'clock. The wonderful Callie set up the one on the main page for me, so possibly
Awesome.
it's tomorrow for the main page.
Looking forward to that. Looking forward to that. Mark?
It's a lovely house, seriously, worth a watch.
Yeah, well, I'm going to check that out. I'm going to set a reminder. Mark, anything on the horizon? I know you've sold a lot this month. It's been probably your most successful month in business.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, very excited. Elsham Way, 4-bed detached, coming up, finalising the details. And I doubt very much that will make the market because, as you said, I've got my own Yateley page, put it on there, and they're going to be queuing up around the corner. And I've got, just looking at it now, Brocklands, not a road many people have heard of. It's a little road in Yateley. And again, it's a 4-bed detached. So it's exactly what I need. Can't get enough of them. 2
family homes that I'm sure if anyone's watching will be all over. So yeah, excited for those. Make sure you do the Beat the Portals on the brand page for those, Mark, as well, if you've got admin access. It would be great to get those put out. But yeah, great work. Really, really good. Sean, yourself, you've been all over the place this month, haven't you? You've been here, there and everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's the recommendations. If someone recommends me, and it's a no-brainer that I look after people. So yeah, I've sold one at Staines, sold one. Well, I've got one for sale in Kent, which has got about a dozen viewings this Saturday, which will be a nice trip down there with the daughter again. She's going to see it open house it in full swing. Yeah, I've got 2 properties coming on. I've got one coming on Tuesday in Fleet, which is an apartment. Nice investment for someone, very close to Fleet Pond as well. And I've got a little sneaky chalet bungalow in Yateley, Selwyn Drive. If anyone's looking for something absolutely mint, then that probably won't hit the market. So yeah, about 500-ish.
Exciting stuff. Yeah, it's definitely popping off. I've seen a lot of valuations booked, even with half term, over the last kind of 2 weeks across all the partners pages. So definitely positive. To finish up, Andy Humphreys is he's fishing. He's fishing with me here, and he's asking whether Chelsea should be kicked out of the Premier League and the Champions League as a result of our Russian owner. And to end with a bit of fun and a bit of humour, I'll just highlight the fact that Andy's actually a Tottenham fan, and that in itself, for me, is hilarious. So yeah, I love this conversation. There's some great stuff that we've spoken about there, from multiple offers, how to get the property ready in spring, things that have reacted from the storm, the top end of the market, and how that might be impacted with Russia. Loads of conversations in between, some sneak peeks from all of you as well that's coming on. Check out everyone's page. Mark, TikTok, his Yateley Facebook group. Get on Sean's Instagram, see what he's up to. It's really, really good. And Georgina's got a live premiering at 8 o'clock that is not to be missed. Andy's disappointed. Never starting a Chelsea fan, you're a Tottenham fan. Unfortunately, it will never end well for you. And we'll see you next week at 6 o'clock, everyone.